Good evening, fellow Plexers. Today's video is going to be a specific one for my buddy Howie, who's having trouble getting a series in, and I've recreated his folder structure, and he wants to know how to use Filebot. He's having trouble with that too, and he's having trouble with my 2025 Filebot video. So first of all, let me just bring in this from the screenshot he sent me. So Howie, right off the bat, my OCD is going a little crazy. Like Battlestar Galactica space, parentheses 1978. Chips space, parentheses 1977. This is just a scene release folder name. That's not a Plex folder name. Go find the year at TMDB or TVDB and have it be Gimme a Break, exclamation point, space, parentheses with a year. Same for Happy Days. This is sloppy work, my friend. So that's a video I sent to him. So my OCD is also triggered by this, season space 01. But season space 1, season space 2, a lot of people use that without issue. All right, so again, OCD is getting triggered. Plex has an official separator of space dash space, so it would be give me a break, exclamation point, with or without the year, with or without the source ID from TVDB or TMDB, space dash space S01 E00, space dash space the optional episode name. There's no reason to put that in parentheses. So that's my OCD. And let me find one more screenshot from our little chat. So this is how Plex is scanning in with no metadata. You see, give me a break, episode 1 for season 5, no metadata. So I don't know if there's no metadata for episode or seasons 1, 2, or 3. I assume not, but let's not take any chances. Let's adjust this to be season 05. And, well, let's do this. Let's quickly just lose the episode names. They're optional anyway. And let's make this for season 5. We'll rename these all at once. So we've got S03 changing to S05. Me likey. All right, so let's make a copy of this. So we have the original, and let me go back. So I don't usually make a second video, but I didn't like how my video was turning out. So let's get rid of some of the stuff I did. Should have had this prep beforehand. Okay, so let me scan this library, empty the trash, and let me just do a quick Plex dance, or the last step of a Plex dance, by cleaning the bundles. Remove the video, scan your library, empty the trash, go to troubleshooting and run clean your bundles, and you've got a fresh thing, a fresh library to add media to. Okay, so let's go and copy this into this folder structure. And this should scan automatically. Doing a lot of work on my regular server, moving things around. Okay, so we've scanned. We've got Give Me a Break. we've got the metadata at the show level. Now, I don't know if Howie has the metadata at the show level, just not at the season 5 level. So we do have the metadata recreating his structure. So that tells me this isn't a sloppy file name and folder formatting issue. This is something else. So Howie, click back on your TV show library, click the 3 dots, go to Manage Library and Edit. Well, I clicked the wrong spot. Go to Manage Library and Edit. And then go to Advanced and make sure your scanner is a Plex TV series and your agent is the Plex series agent. And you really want to be using the TV database if that's what you're naming from. If you're naming from the movie database, this will be the default setting. But all of my videos recommend having episode ordering from TVDB, so that's how my libraries are set up. But let's do this. Let's rename this to, no, we don't have to rename this. Let's add this to a test folder structure just like it is and see how a default Plex library folder picks it up. Okay, so we're going to copy it again just as Howie has it. Let's keep backing up until I'm at my library screen because it couldn't possibly be quicker going there some other way. All right, so let's add a library, TV show. Let's call it TMDB test. All right, so this is a recent reinstall of the Plex Synology package install on my newer Synology DS1520 or 1520 Plus NAS. I'm reconfiguring everything. I've moved all my Plex media off to my older Synology NAS, the DS1019, and I'm currently scanning that all my media at 2 locations, this original NAS and the old NAS, because I'm going to reset this NAS. Right now, this test Plex server is set up on a test SSD volume, SATA SSD volume, with the package installed on that volume. Little background information. Usually I do a Docker container version of Plex on this NAS for a lot of my videos. All right, so where am I? Volume 1, let me click into it. Here's my media public domain shared folder, and I click too fast. Here's a TV library sort folder, and here's that TV-TMDB folder we created. So we'll add that, and I will not change the episode ordering from the default. Okay, so, and this pulled in 2. So let's remember Joey's Train, Ship of Fools 1 and 2. And see how the TVDB version scanned that in. Joey's Train, Ship of Fools 2. So the episode ordering is the same at TMDB as it is at TVDB, at least for these first 3 episodes in season 5. So we're pulling metadata, and I can't recreate Howie's issue. But Howie had 2 questions. He wanted to know how to rename things with Filebot. He doesn't like Filebot's default expression. And let me show you how to do it for a TV show library where episode ordering is going to be based on TMDB and not TVDB. I prefer TVDB, I recommend it, but we'll do it this way first. So I'm just going to open up Filebot. And instead of using my custom expressions or if I hold down the Shift key, I can see Filebot's custom expression of organized episodes for Plex, but this puts it in Filebot's preferred folder structure that you might not like. I'm going to use Filebot simply just by clicking Match, and under episode mode, I can choose either the movie database for TV shows or the TV database. So I'll choose the movie database. Pick the right show. Now this is not changing the folder structure at all. Whatever folder structure you have, this is just going to rename the episodes. But I'll simply choose rename, and it's exactly how they're listed at TVD or TMDB. So I could clean this up myself by simply doing that. This, let me go in here. An exclamation point is not an illegal character. And I can change this scene release folder name to the actual show folder name. And without a year, it's going to scan in fine. So now let's go into the main one, and we'll use Filebot to rename this with a custom expression. And I have one set up already. So this is my latest TV show expression. This is what I name it to find it. And this latest edition I did for 2025 can now handle split file names through the help of the Filebot developer. The Filebot developer is very helpful when you ask him a question. He's about 10 times smarter than I am, and sometimes I'm afraid to ask him to dumb his explanations down for me, but he's a great resource. He's helped me out a bunch. I really appreciate his help. So this can handle split file names, but only if the parts are named PT1, PT2, PT3. If they were named PART1 and so on, the expression would have to change here to be PART and not PT. So it won't handle every type of split name that's allowed by Plex, but you can specify the type you're using. And I always use PT1, but it's probably better to use MKV tool next to join the segments rather than naming it as this split type of way. So this is my full expression. It does a lot. It's got to have this replace trailing brackets because we're naming from TVDB. And a few shows over there have the year as part of the proper show name, while most don't. If you get one of those few shows, you'll end up with double brackets if you don't have this replace trailing brackets component. So this adds the year. This adds the name. That fixes the brackets issue, the double year. Here's the year. This part adds the TVDB source ID. This part creates the season folder. And this part handles those double years again with the name of the show, the year of the show, the season episode coding. T stands for episode. This adds the video format, video codec, audio format, audio codec. And then I'm searching for whether there's embedded English or unlabeled subtitles to have the file tell me so. And then the part 1 or the PT1, PT2, and so on part. Then the last part handles external SRT subtitles. That's a lot. I've dumbed it down just to something simple like you might get using the default binding in Filebot while also creating structures. So you copy and paste this. And what you do is you get Filebot open. You click edit, and then you click new. And instead of doing that, I'm going to edit the one I already created. I named it in Howie's honor, Howie TV TVDB rename. So what you didn't see is the screen that shows you where to give the name to. and you just paste that information in this line, the expression line. You change the data source to the TVDB versus the movie database. I'm sorry, versus the movie database TV. The movie database is for a movie expression, and this is for the other TV show expression. So you have it set to that, and you choose whether you want Filebot to pull from the AirDate listing or the alternate DVD listing. And you simply hit Save Preset. All right, so we're in the main TV show library. We're going to rename this. Let me open with Filebot. We'll use the temporary Howie expression. Give me a break, we'll confirm that. And you'll see now we are going to create structure in place. It's still going to be in my same media PD shared folder on this NAS, the same sort TV show library folder of TV-libraries, the same TV show folder library name, TV-main, and it's going to rename this goofy folder. Where is it? It's going to rename this goofy folder to the proper show folder. It's going to make all the season folders uniform, season 01, 02, 05. And it's going to create this episode name with the year, season, episode coding, and the episode name. So let me rename. And I'll refresh this. Voila. Voila.
Good evening, fellow Plexers.
And these are just dummy files that I have. So you notice it put the TVDB source ID in the folder name, but not in the file name. You could do both by changing the expression. You only need it in the folder name. So Howie, that's how to use Filebot. And if I wanted to create another expression, let me open Filebot up again, and I'll click Edit. All right, Howie TV TVDB rename. Let's do a new one. Let's call it Howie TVDB rename DVD order. Paste that same expression in, change the data source to the TVDB, and change episode ordering now to the DVD order. And now I'll save that preset. So now I have two temporary presets named after Howie. And let's rename this one. Let's see if anything changes. We won't actually rename it. We'll start to rename it. So now we'll choose the new DVD order. And we're looking for a change in episode names. And it looks like the DVD order, if there is one, is the same as the aired order. And if the show does not have a DVD order, it's just going to use the aired order, even though we specified the DVD order in the creation of the expression. So they're exactly the same no matter which ordering for this show. And I bet they're the same. If I did a manual, I can't do a manual. Well, I do have a manual TMDB. Rename only by air date. Let's do the structure. Yeah, it looks like the same episode file names. Well, the actual episode name and each file name seems like they stay the same. All right, so let's go back to the Howie one. We're not really renaming, they were all green, so that's it. Let's take this one, copy it. Let's paste it in here. We'll create one last library. Okay, so that's structure for a test anime library, but no test anime series in there. Let's point to that structure. TV library sort folder. And this anime. Again, always change the episode ordering to TVDB if that's where you're renaming from. We'll add that. And it looks like everything's scanned in. So for whatever reason, there's no graphic for these, but the metadata is still there for everything else. And you wouldn't know the difference if you actually had the show. Like I have these dummy files.
Good evening, fellow Plex.
And this would just grab a scene from the episode and you really wouldn't know the difference from what these look like. All right, Howie, that's the best I can do. I do not know, even with what I consider your sloppy structure, why this didn't scan in with metadata. So check those agents like I showed you in the scanner, Plex TV series scanner, Plex series for the agent. And hopefully that will be your issue. And I guess I did want to do one more thing. Not to scold you, but let's just go into Plex's fantastic support articles. Under your media, we'll go to naming and organizing your TV show. And Plex basically says to name from the two databases, either the movie database or the TVDB, and it gives you lots of examples. Okay, so Doctor Who with a year for the show folder. Seasonal 1 for the season folder. The show folder name again, and here's that official separator. I know people think it doesn't mean much, but the examples are here to look. And here's the official separator again between the season and episode coding and the proper episode name. All right, here's Grey's Anatomy with a year. Well, I'm sorry, here it is for the show folder. Here it is in season 01 folder. The official separator again between these two parts. And here's an example of split naming, which my latest Filebot expression does do. And that's the example Plex uses. And that's the example I set my Filebot expressions to use too. So Howie, I'm not really sure why it's not scanning, but you got some things to check now. And you can create a simplified Filebot expression that renames and creates structure in place. And hopefully this gets you over the hump you're on. Thanks for watching and happy Plexing.